They wore the uniform, swore an oath, served under the flag. But something went terribly wrong. From betrayal to rage to cold-blooded murder. These are the shocking stories of 10 U.S. military service members whose legacies turned criminal and whose lives now play out behind bars. 1. Rita Mays, the killer nurse of Clarksburg, Virginia. Rita Mays wasn't on the front lines. She was behind the nurse's desk. A former National Guard member turned a VA hospital assistant. Mays was trusted to care for elderly veterans. Instead, she became a silent killer. From 2017 to 2018, at least 7 veterans died under her watch due to insulin overdoses, none of them diabetic. Her motive, unknown. Her actions, calculated. In 2021, she was sentenced to 7 life terms plus 20 years. As of today, she remains imprisoned at FMC Carswell in Texas, one of the deadliest medical serial killers in VA history. 2. Robert Bales, the butcher of Kandahar. Robert Bales was once praised for his military service, but in March 2012, on a moonlit night in Kandahar, he committed one of the worst war crimes by a U.S. soldier in modern history. He left his base, entered 2 Afghan villages, and massacred 16 civilians, including 9 children, then returned covered in blood. He later said, "There's no good reason for the horror I caused." He avoided the death penalty by pleading guilty. Now 51, Bales is serving life without parole at Fort Leavenworth. 3. Malik Kearney, domestic murder across state lines. Army Sergeant Malik Kearney didn't just disobey a protection order. He drove hundreds of miles to violate it with murder. After his estranged wife, PFC Carlin Ramirez, fled from abuse and sought help, he plotted with his mistress to find and kill her. He shot Ramirez in her townhouse, then left her body holding their infant daughter. In 2018, Kearney was sentenced to life without parole. His mistress, who helped plan the attack, got 17 years. Their child, raised now by family with no mother and no father. 4. Isaac Agwigwi, from grief to domestic terror. Isaac Agwigwi started with tragedy. His pregnant wife died under suspicious circumstances. But then came the revelation. He used her $500,000 insurance payout to fund an anti-government militia. Named FEAR, Forever Enduring, Always Ready. His group plotted assassinations and domestic terror attacks. 2 former members were lured to the woods and shot execution style. Agwigwi now serves 2 life sentences without parole, one for the militia murders, the other for his wife's death. A cautionary tale of how domestic extremism can grow from inside the uniform. 5. William Kreutzer Jr., Fort Bragg's forgotten mass shooter. Nicknamed Crazy Kreutzer, William was bullied, ignored, and mentally unstable, yet still armed. In 1995, during early morning PT at Fort Bragg, he opened fire on 1,300 fellow soldiers. 1 officer died. 18 more were wounded. Originally sentenced to death, his penalty was overturned due to poor legal defense. He now serves life without parole at Leavenworth. His case became an early example of what happens when the military ignores mental health red flags. 6. John M. Russell, the counselor killer. During his 3rd Iraq tour, Sergeant John Russell cracked. After a heated mental health session in 2009, he overpowered his escort, stole a rifle, and gunned down 5 unarmed service members at Camp Liberty's clinic. He later admitted guilt to avoid execution. Diagnosed with PTSD and depression, Russell is now serving life without parole. His story reignited national conversation on suicide prevention and mass violence in the ranks. 7. Dwight Jeffrey Loving, the cab killer. In 1988, Private Dwight Loving went on a chilling killing spree, executing 2 cab drivers near Fort Hood, Texas. His victims were robbed, shot in the head, and left for dead. His motive? He told investigators he wanted to see if he could get away with it. His confession was cold and remorseless. Originally sentenced to death, Loving's sentence was commuted by President Obama in 2017. Now 57, he's serving life without parole at Fort Leavenworth. 8. Andrew Witt, uniform betrayal. In 2004, Airman Andrew Witt showed up in uniform, with murder on his mind. After making unwanted advances on his friend's wife, Witt returned the next day with a knife and stabbed 3 people. 2 died. 1 barely survived. Originally sentenced to death, his sentence was reversed after years of legal wrangling. In 2018, he received life without parole. Witt's case remains a chilling reminder of how close betrayal can live, even inside your unit. Grady Wayne Wilkes, Soldier versus Police. In 2019, when Auburn, Alabama police responded to a domestic violence call, they didn't expect a trained National Guardsman in full battle gear to greet them. Wilkes opened fire, killing Officer William Buechner and wounding 2 others. His tactical ambush triggered a citywide manhunt. Though prosecutors sought the death penalty, Wilkes received life without parole in 2023. His actions blurred the line between trained soldier and domestic terrorist. 10. Ryan G. Anderson, the would-be traitor. Army tank crewman Ryan Anderson never stepped foot on the battlefield, but he was determined to fight for the other side. In 2004, he was caught in an FBI sting offering to help Al-Qaeda. He provided tank schematics, troop movement details, and weapon vulnerabilities. Though his defense cited mental illness and isolation, Anderson was convicted and sentenced to life with parole eligibility. His case revealed just how easy it can be for ideology to override loyalty. Not every soldier becomes a hero. Some return home celebrated. Others cross a line they can never come back from. These 10 stories are more than military scandals. They're human tragedies. They remind us that behind the discipline, medals, and salutes, there are people grappling with inner wars, mental illness, trauma, rage, disillusionment. And sometimes more. Those wars erupt in ways that shock the very nation they once swore to protect. We're left to ask hard questions. Where does accountability end and compassion begin? Should trauma excuse treachery or explain it? And how do we protect our country without losing sight of the humanity inside the uniform? We want to hear your voice. What's your take? Do military mental health failures deserve more empathy or stricter justice? Leave your thoughts in the comments. Your perspective matters. And if this story moved you, challenged you, or made you think, don't keep it to yourself. Like, share, and subscribe for more unfiltered stories from the front lines of truth, justice, and consequence.